Hey everybody, Paul Brooks here for B-Movie Mania, and I am here at the Monroeville Mall in Monroeville, Pennsylvania for Living Dead Weekend 2021, a celebration of all things George Romero and zombie movies and all sorts of fun stuff. I have Steph with me here. Hi, Steph.
Hi.
And we are really excited to go inside and meet some people from all the various Living Dead movies and see some creepy zombies, right, Steph? This is, of course, the iconic location where the original Dawn of the Dead was filmed, so this is really hallowed ground for fans of George Romero and zombie movies in general. So, come on inside with us. Let's go see what we can find inside the Monroeville Mall for Living Dead Weekend. I am super excited to be sitting here right now with the one and only Russ Streiner. Russ, hello.
Hi, how are you? And I'm super excited to be talking with you on your podcast.
Well, thank you very much, Johnny, of course, from Night of the Living Dead. And I have to ask you, even though some other fans were just here talking with you about it, you have, without question, one of the most iconic lines in cinema history. And I'm curious if you know who wrote the line.
Are you talking about the line where Johnny says to his sister, boy, you'll be damned to hell?
Not quite. No, not the one I was thinking of.
Not that one. There must be another one.
Yeah.
Then you must be talking about that coming to get you, Barbara. Is that the one you're talking about?
There it is.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
The original script was a slight variation of that, and when we filmed that scene, it seemed to make more sense to me to deliver it, to bring it to a more immediate status. I changed it slightly to "They're coming to get you, Barbara." And as it turns out, that accident has been immortalized on film, and it's become kind of iconic. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when the movie first came out, did you ever have a conversation with George Romero about the success of the movie? You guys were, worked on various projects together.
Right.
Were you surprised with the success, or did it take a while to sort of, dawn on you what was going on with the cult status of the movie?
Well, initially, we had a pretty good reaction just here in Pittsburgh. The film opened here in Pittsburgh on October 1st of 1968. We filmed it in 1967. We had a pretty good idea because we were all local guys. The promotion in this area was pretty good, but we had the good fortune of the people who owned Associated Theaters at that time. Had a whole chain of theaters in southwestern Pennsylvania and beyond. And they got behind the film and helped us promote it. And one of the things they did, they called all of their exhibitor pals in Columbus and Dayton and Philadelphia and Buffalo and said, we're not exactly sure what's going on with this picture, but you better book it because we're doing a ton of business with it. And it did get a very, very good start. And then it quieted down a little bit. It went the picture went to Europe, and it became popular in Europe. And then it became extremely popular for midnight screenings in the United States. So we were a little stunned and a little surprised because it was the first time that we had ever attempted to do a feature film, what we called a real film, being a film that you could go to a movie theater and watch. But we were taken a little bit by surprise, but we were pretty happy with it.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us, and thank you. Yesterday we were talking, and you gave me some tips about Evans City that I need to try their corn on the cob, because it's supposedly the best corn on the cob in maybe the world.
In Johnny's opinion and Russ Streiner's opinion, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the climate, the soil, whatever it is. Corn on the cob, you find no better than in Evans City, PA, where we filmed Night of the Living Dead. There's some magic in the air there.
There you go. Thank you.
Sure enough.
I'm here right now with John Russo, co-writer of Night of the Living Dead, and I wanted to ask you, John, about your movie Midnight. We talked about this a little bit during your panel, and yesterday there's a new Blu-ray release of Midnight coming out.
Well, the new release is first class, made from the original negative, and here at this Living Dead weekend, Severin Films is here. Jamie Lockhart running the table, and Jamie edited the Midnight remake, and he edited My Uncle John as a Zombie, and a number of other films that Gary Vincent and I have made. So I haven't seen it, but Jamie has. He said it's absolutely spectacular.
And you did some new commentary for the release?
Yeah, Dave Felsher shot about an hour with me as commentary, and there's commentary from other people too that were in the movie, including Savini. He didn't do a whole lot. He did some of the special effects, but then he left to work on Night Riders, so I actually did a lot of the blood spurting effects and so on myself.
And one of the other things that we were talking about at the panel was sort of the original idea for Night of the Living Dead, in terms of how you and George Romero kind of brainstormed ideas for the script and put ideas together for that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Basically, the two of us worked on the script. I was the one that came up with the idea of dead people after human flesh. Without those two ideas, you don't have Night of the Living Dead or anything that came after it in that subgenre. So, and then I wrote most of the script. George wrote the first 20 or 30 minutes, but I rewrote that, and then I wrote the second half myself after we had some script discussions, but I took the lead in those discussions even. So that's how it happened, basically.
And you have some new projects that you're working on currently. Is there anything that you'd like to mention?
Well, I'm directing Red Tide Massacre, shooting in L.A. I have to be there later this month, which is July, and I don't know how long it's going to take, so that's one thing I'm doing, but we do so many things, you know. I have, during COVID, when locked up, I rewrote a couple of my novels, spruced them up, you know, did some things I wanted to do. Wrote a couple new novels, wrote a couple screenplays, so we just keep going.
Last thing I wanted to ask you is about the remake of Midnight. You have a role in that film of the priest, right?
Yeah, in the original Midnight, you don't see the priest. The girl goes to confession. You hear the priest's voice, but you don't see him. The camera stays on her. In the remake, I play the priest, and I have two scenes. I have the scene where the girl Nancy goes to confession, and then I have a scene where her stepfather, the bad guy, sort of bad guy, not the worst in the movie, but he goes to confession because he's feeling so guilty for what he did to her. So I have two scenes in that.
Great. Well, thanks for chatting with us, and good luck with the projects coming up.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you and your podcast.
Thank you. I'm talking with Jeff Whitehead right now, who is part of the George A. Romero Foundation. Are you the CEO?
I'm the COO, the Chief Operations Officer.
Okay, great. Tell us a little bit. I was at the panel yesterday, and you were talking about some really cool stuff. I love the amusement park that just came out on Shudder, and you guys are doing some really cool stuff. So maybe just for those who aren't familiar with what you guys are doing, if you could chat about that just a little bit.
I sure can. The foundation operates for the legacy of George Romero, obviously. So what we are trying to do is work to support future independent filmmakers by providing scholarships, fellowships, mentorships. So a lot of the funding that we raise through our own fundraising, as well as at tables like this, get put into a scholarship fund that we distribute to 4 or 5 different entities around the Pittsburgh area and a little bit further. We also work on restorations, and if Suze were here, and sadly she was unable to come from Canada just now, but she's usually here with us, she would say that the thing that we're proudest of right now is the restoration of the amusement park. It was the first major project of the foundation. We have one project that we're working on right now called Romero's Elegy, which is an early piece, and it's sort of an ode to George and Richard Ricci, and so we can look forward to that. We also help independent filmmakers complete their projects. So we're working right now with an independent filmmaker to finish a short this summer. And we'll continue to host and hold independent filmmakers as they come into the future so that we can try to fund some of their work to get them out there and get exposure.
It's pretty amazing. And another thing that you guys were talking about yesterday is actually being able to go in and look at some of the materials if you make an appointment, basically. Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
I can. So what you're referring to is the George A. Romero collection at the Horror Studies Archive at the University of Pittsburgh. We work very closely with the University of Pittsburgh. Most of us are also staff there or work there. Our friends Ben Rubin, who you saw yesterday, he's the curator of the archive. And so now it is open. And so people, if they are interested in seeing some of the ephemera, the scripts, old posters and call sheets and things like that, if they're interested for scholarly purposes, can make an appointment to come into the archive. The finding aid is public right now, and I know they are looking to digitize as much as they can to allow people to have access to it over time as well, so that right now we have to come in person to see it, and it's very, very cool. But over time, we're hoping to be able to have more of it available online for people to look at so that they can enjoy it from the comfort of their own homes.
I know that there's a lot of different things that are still being discovered, a lot of different materials. Is there anything that you can talk about that sort of you're most excited about that you're working on right now?
Yeah, actually, the piece that we're working on right now, I think, is the most exciting thing that we have. I mean, obviously, the amusement park was a major deal. I mean, when that was rediscovered, it was very, very important, very impressive. We work with our friends Cryptic right next door on Iron City Ass Kickers, which was really fun. It's a really just fun little piece. And now we were surprised and are really happy to have found a piece of Expostulations, which was one of George's very first projects. And so we are working with a team of people to actually bring that back to life. And that, I think, is really exciting because it actually predates Night. And so it shows you some of the very early work from George and Latent Image, which is really neat to see as they were honing their craft and figuring out what kind of filmmakers they wanted to be.
That's really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing some of this stuff. And again, I loved the amusement park. So check that out on Shudder and check out the George A. Romero Foundation. Jeff, thanks so much. Well, there you have it, folks. What an amazing weekend here at the Monroeville Mall for Living Dead Weekend 2021. I hope you enjoyed the video. And now, since it's the 4th of July, it's time for some fireworks.